Streets Unplugged by the Luxembourg Street Photo Collective.
Let's start our next episode of the festival podcast. We are here with Samuel Lintaro Hopf, who specially flew in from Hamburg to come to meet us. He's a guy with impressive figures. He has 50,000 followers on Instagram and almost 130,000 followers on YouTube. Wow, amazing. Wow. He's also a good friend of one of our guests, Tatsuo Suzuki. Yes. Hello, yes. Samuel.
Hello.
What do you think of the festival? How is it going so far?
Yeah, very, very fun. I had a good time, and unfortunately I missed the beginning, the big event on Thursday, I guess. And I heard it was super packed, and I arrived here Saturday afternoon, just in time for Tatsuo's presentation. But yeah, your festival has a good reputation already. I heard from many of my colleagues, other photographers, that it's always very well organized, and yeah, it's been great.
Super. That's nice to hear. Yeah. Well, the organization is not me and Eric. But
okay.
No, I'm joking. We try to be as organized as we can. As we can. Samuel, tell us a little bit about your photographic life.
At the moment, it's almost non-existent.
Okay.
I mean, if you're talking about my personal work, photography work, then I have to make some adjustments. I became a father 2 years ago, and I'm still adjusting to these new circumstances. Yeah, but my whole life always resolved around photography. As you know, I have my YouTube channel about street photography mainly. That's where I share a lot of my process, not necessarily my main work, because it's always an ongoing process, and whenever the time is right, then I will speak about my projects. But I'm still producing, working, trying to grow and do books maybe. But yeah, I still feel like I'm in the beginning of really making something worthy of sharing.
Okay, great. Well,
yeah. I'm a little bit too humble sometimes because I'm half Japanese, and it's a default mindset.
Great. Well, sometimes it helps as well. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, and you just spoke about your YouTube channel, and as we are here on a festival, the Light Leaks Festival, that has its roots in street photography. In one of your episodes, you spoke about the role of the street photographer. He has in general photographic history. Can you? I found your answer nice, but maybe could you dig into this for the audience?
I don't quite know what you're referencing. Can you maybe explain what you mean by the role of a street photographer, or what did I say?
It was in your 5 lessons episode. I think it was. You were talking about the more or less about documenting everyday life.
Yeah.
And you had yeah.
Okay. I guess if you want to know my philosophy about street photography, then. To be honest, since that video, I'm thinking of changing my philosophy a little bit again. But in general, I think street photography for me is about, first of all, for me personally, it has to be candid. It's one of the only genres of photography that focuses on unaltered moments, and it can be mundane things in daily life. It can be events, and for me, street photography is also a little bit of not a little bit. It's a lifestyle also for me. I always have my camera with me. Doesn't matter if I'm in the countryside. For me, that's still the way of a street photographer, to always have the camera. And as long as people live in a space, in a public space, for me, that's what street photography can document. And then in that video you're referencing, I was probably talking about the importance of documenting your surrounding, right? Especially your own community, your neighborhood. I think people who travel a lot, like I also did in the past, we might have we might get some interesting images, and maybe we can even win competitions by entering like amazing single images. But at the end, the whole body of work consists of random places you visited maybe for a short time, and I think there's more interesting things you can document in your own town, in your city, because that's the advantage you have, right? You guys live here in Luxembourg. It's my first time here. I have no idea about how this city feels like. Just got a taste of it, but it doesn't make sense for me to make photos during this weekend and create something out of it. It wouldn't be deep enough, you know. So I think it's important to document your surroundings. And in that video referencing, I was also saying that I think maybe I was taking my own approach a little bit too seriously and focusing too much on documenting, on reportage, on preserving history. But to be honest, I also want to have my own personality and me as a photographer in the images. So if there's nothing connected to the photographer, then it becomes just boring documentation. So there has to be at least a unique perspective. So
Did you have time to go to the streets of Luxembourg yet?
Yes, I just came back from a little walk. I was guided by Victor. Greetings to him and thanks for the walk. We went to, forgot all the names, but we went down to the river. We crossed some bridges, visited the center, and you have so much green here. It's very beautiful, but it's a walkable city, I guess.
With many up and downs.
Yeah, many layers. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's cool. That's interesting. But yeah, I need more time here.
Nice.
But so far, I like it.
So you told us you're half Japanese, or your mother is Japanese.
Yes.
I recall. So you must be familiar with Japanese culture a lot, and as you
the
also
good and the bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's already interesting. So you also attended yesterday's conference with Tatsuo, and he told us that the freedom of taking pictures is in Japan goes very far.
Yeah.
How do you think this affects the work of a street photographer in general? Are you overwhelmed by this freedom, or is it possible that?
Yeah, good question. Can you have too much freedom?
Yeah.
When it comes to street photography, I mean, I don't know what he said, but first of all, you have a lot of freedoms when it comes to taking and publishing images. Compared to us here in Europe, it's very free, and you can basically do what you want as long as you don't harm someone or harm someone's public image.
Yeah. Rules of respect.
Yeah, exactly. And the only thing I think in Japan is that you have these freedoms, but just socially or the society in Japan, they how do you say, they restrict themselves, like how they express themselves. And for me, as someone who focuses on people a lot, and Tatsuo's work is also very much about people, right? Yesterday he said he needs people. So I mean, for him it must have been frustrating just experiencing the pandemic in Japan. And I don't know, maybe he talked about it, but I was there in 2021, and I didn't take that many images because even without the masks and the pandemic, Japanese people have kind of a mask on all the time, and they don't show a lot of emotions. They don't get angry on the street. You don't want to stand out. But for me, as someone who wants to capture some some truthful moments and that some the human experience, then there's not so much of that. You see a lot of hardships and people being tired from work. So you can document that and capture that. But I prefer photographing in Europe because people are more open. They show more affection and
instant reactions.
Yeah, so I don't know what I prefer. The restrictions legally that we have here, but I get a little bit more expressions out of people, or the freedom of taking photos wherever I want, publishing them whenever I want, but not getting maybe true emotion and interactions on the street. I think I would probably go the non-legal
Yeah, you can really see this difference in one of your videos. I think it was Osaka, where you did a walk with a friend.
Okay.
There you really see how you lured in front of a wall with nice shadow of a tree.
Okay,
I think.
remember.
Mm-hmm. And people were like robots. They were passing this wall like robots. So I think for this particular spot it was easy because no one was bothered by taking pictures, but at the same time there is a lack of emotion as well. So,
yeah, I mean, you can make pretty images, but I want some. It sounds a little pretentious, but I want something more than just pretty images. And there's nothing wrong with taking pretty images, but I want, or at least if I look at a photograph, I want to feel something, think about something. Maybe the photograph triggers some memory or emotion that I had in the past, or I want to, how do you say? I want to experience the photograph, and pretty images. You see them, and then you leave and go to the next one.
Yeah, see.
I'm jumping to something that is related.
Okay.
You have your 5 lessons video. You have 2 of them, but to have meaningful pictures, what are the 5 lessons for that?
So let me think
Sorry
about
for killing
that.
you.
Exposed.
No, I'm joking.
5 lessons for meaningful images. Yeah, I mean, we can try to figure that out. So I would say, first of all, it has to come from an honest position or from a true intent. Not something like I want to make an image to impress someone, but to have an image that you wanted to show. Like it has to be 100% coming from you, and that is already difficult. And then secondly, I would say meaningful. I mean, it also depends on the viewer interprets your image however they want. So maybe someone finds meaning that you didn't put in your images, but at least offer the possibility of someone to get some meaning out of it. Oh man, 5 is hard. 3 more.
It can be 2 more or 1 more. We're not picky. Don't worry.
Yeah, then you have to ask the question like, what is meaningful?
Yes.
Right?
What is a meaningful picture? That was the question actually.
Yeah. What is it? Yeah, I mean, it totally depends on. Everything can be meaningful. Even a boring picture can be meaningful. You know, then the meaning is that it's about boringness or whatever.
Okay, let's.
I'm just a human.
Yes, no worries. It's all good.
Speaking of human, you have a family recently?
They're all humans, yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
We had some chickens, but they're all dead now.
So you have a 2-year-old son?
Yeah.
Son, right?
Son, yeah.
So how do you find balance between being a YouTuber, photographer, having your personal projects and the personal life? I guess it's hard, but somehow you manage.
I don't know if I manage, but I try my best. I mean, everyone who has children can relate, and it's a struggle. It's a constant challenge, and adjusting, yeah, your life. So now I don't want to complain. I think I'm in a very privileged position, as in that my work or the things I do for money involve photography and things I enjoy doing. So even if I'm away from my family because I have to work, then it has something to do with photography. And compared to if I would sit in someone's office 9 to 5 and maybe have only the weekend, then I might struggle a little bit more when it comes to being fulfilled in my photography life. But currently my son is 2 years old, so he's not in childcare yet. We try to spend as much time as we can in the beginning together. My wife works almost part-time, so she has my son in the morning till the afternoon, and then I take him from the afternoon and bring him to bed, basically. So it's almost like 50-50 during the week. That means that I have less time for work, but I take one weekend day, usually a Saturday, and then Sunday we have a family day. Okay. Of course, I make exception. For example, like right now. Yeah. You're welcome, guys. No, and then this is all part of. I mean, I'm not here for work, of course. I'm just here to be here and meet old friends and make new friends. It's all part of, networking and connections. So it's also important. Yeah, but it's a struggle.
I have a question for my son, who's 12. And his biggest dream is to become a professional YouTuber.
Oh yeah, you hear that all the time.
Yeah, how does that work?
I would tell him, if I would be you, to not bother with it until he's old enough to know exactly what he wants. Because I think what he wants is that lifestyle he thinks is attractive, maybe compared to a regular job, but he doesn't see maybe the amount of work you have to put in. And then if he's 12 and he starts now, his taste might change, right? His interest might change. And then I don't think it's healthy to be in that constant feedback loop of putting out yourself, filming yourself, putting yourself out in the world, getting feedback from the comments. It does affect you. I have to deal with that, and sometimes I have days where I feel a little bad because someone really got upset at me and I don't know why, and I try to solve it, but you can't make everyone happy, right? So for a 12-year-old, that can be too much to handle. So yeah.
And how does a YouTuber's day look like?
A YouTuber,
so from a regular day of a YouTuber. Okay. So my question is, what does this job imply? What does it bring with it?
That's always different for everyone. I can only speak for myself, so I can tell you how my days look like. So weekdays, pretty boring. I wake up with my son, and then 9 a.m. I go upstairs to my little home office, and yeah, usually I edit videos during the week. I have, of course, other things to do, like planning other projects, answering emails, trying to find time for my offline projects, like I'm working on releasing some camera straps, for example, and that's something that I never did before, or some researching. Yeah, and then the filming always happens in one day. I try to do everything in one day if I can. So I take my weekends for that. So in the week I try to do the editing, the post-processing.
So post-processing is much more work than
much more work, yeah. I should hire an editor, but I also really enjoy editing.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the experience you get watching YouTube video comes from the editing, so hard to give that responsibility away, yeah.
Yeah, this is a totally new issue to discuss in street photography in general. You were talking about editing videos, I guess, but the whole editing process in street photography is a very, let's say, disputed topic.
Neglected topic, maybe.
Yeah,
also.
neglected. Yeah. there are people who say, no, don't touch it, don't even crop the pictures, because otherwise it's not
You mean
street
post-processing? Okay.
Yeah, street photography anymore. And then there are people, no, the finished image is a fully post-processed image, and after that it's finished. And then I change the picture into that what I saw, because the interpretation of the camera is different than my eye. So how is your opinion on that?
I personally don't like images that look processed. They have to look natural, and I don't want to think about how this person edited their photos or what technique they used. Like people like to dodge and burn, you know. I also do that sometimes, but I don't want to see where you did that. It has to look natural. And then I think because first when you asked the question, I thought you were talking about editing, like in terms of sequencing work for a book. Because editing videos is not so much about color correction. It's more about how you tell the story. And with photography, I think it's hugely important to reflect on your work and see what works and what doesn't work. So that's definitely more important than how you post-process your images. I do very little editing, so I don't know. Yeah, I hope it's enough.
Yeah, sure. To know you a bit better, I would like to ask you some questions, and you are only allowed to answer with one word, if possible.
Okay.
And fast. Spontaneous. First question. On street photography, zoom lens or not? Zoom lens or prime?
Prime.
Okay. Color or black and white?
Black and white.
Gear matters or not?
I can only say one word, right?
You can say two.
You can say 2 or 3.
It matters, ...
Okay, that's fine. In street photography, flash or not?
Not.
AI or human?
Human.
Yeah, right. Concerning prints, matte or glossy?
Matte.
Yeah, okay. Nothing else. Japan or Europe?
Europe, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And a final question from my part. You can use more words for that one, because I think you will have to elaborate.
Okay.
You're a photographer, YouTuber, vlogger. What would be your job today, if not that?
I have no idea. I studied communication design, so my path was to go into an advertising agency and then become maybe an art director someday. But I never really liked making advertisements and working on things that sell a product, and then I don't have a say in if I like the product or not. It doesn't matter. I have to, still package the product in a nice package and sell it, basically. So I would probably do something else, but honestly, I have no idea. I asked this question myself recently, and I can't say what I would do.
Is it really important to know?
No, not really, because
Not really.
I don't need to think about it yet. But honestly, I'm also thinking about other career paths to do if, let's say, like YouTube and social media is changing so much that I can't do what I do right now. Then I would have to have some kind of backup. But I never think about a backup plan, really. I always try to do what I really want to do, and then so far, unfortunately, it has worked out. Yeah.
To close it, what are your future plans in photography?
Future plans. To still do it as long as I can. Of course, I have projects I want to finish and work on, but mostly I hope I never lose the love of photography. And as long as I can work with photography, I'm happy.
Thank you.
We hope to see you on next year's festival. We hope so. And
I'm happy to be here, yeah.
great. And thanks for the talk.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank
It
you.
was fun. Finally
you,
in
Sam.
person.
Yeah.